Hi, this is Ray Williams of openimage.com.au. Today I thought we'd get into doing some stuff around framing. So when you put a frame around your image, there's traditional vignetting, which we're going to do via the raw converter. So I'm going to take you into that one first. And then the second one's going to be a little bit more funky, have some more fun with using masks. So first and foremost, let's go and grab our image. So I'm going to grab an image which I've got here. And it's a raw file, so therefore when I double click on it, it's going to bring me into the raw converter. So there you go. You've got a young model who I photographed yesterday actually, and I thought I'd just do a vignetting on it. Now, to do vignetting is what they call an FX. So if you come along this line over here, you're on the basic when you open the raw converter. But if you go along, keep on running down the line, you'll see one that says FX, and this is where you want to be. So with vignetting, what you're basically doing is you're coming in here where it says amount, and you're choosing either to go to the left or to the right. So going to the left takes you into black vignetting, going around the edges, as you can see. Going to the right takes you to white vignetting, depending on what you want to do. So let's say we go black, all right, and to that bit, and you can change your midpoint. So I'm just making it a little bit more into the middle. So he's forcing the viewer to look straight down the middle, obviously. With an image like this, you can't go wrong anyway. And you can choose how round you want the actual, I suppose, the middle point to be. And you can also feather it, which, obviously you can feather it that way, which is a bit different. Or you can just put a light feather on it, which is what I've got there. So I'm going to bring this back a little bit. And that gives you a nice darker edge going right the way around. So that's that way of doing it. Press open image in this particular case. And of course, that will then take you into Photoshop. And there you go. So it's got a lovely dark edge going around it. The way it was shot with the depth of field just makes the whole thing work properly. From here, you can then obviously go into the image itself, brighten up the eyes, and I'll do all of that actually in the next piece of this one. So that's the first one. Hope you got that. I'll run back through it just in a second. So I'm not saving that. I'm going to go back. So basically, double click if it's the raw converter you're looking at. Double click on the raw converter. All right, it's actually saved it. I think it has. Yes, it has. So if I come back to the middle, which is where we started, yeah. And basically, you mess with these until you've got the look you particularly want. Now, if I'm going through to do the other part, I'm not going to actually use the vignetting here. I'm going to give you a frame in Photoshop. So right, there we go, opened up, no vignetting, it's just straightforward as it was shot. So first things first, I'll duplicate the background, which is Control or Command J. And there's my background now duplicated. Little hint here, little tip, if you want a bigger icon in your layer panel, if you come into the little three lines at the top here, which is the settings, come down to Panel Options, and go to large icons and say okay, and there you go, they're now a bit bigger. Makes life a little bit easier sometimes. All right, here we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mask on here, and I'm going to put a black mask on. So to put a black one, it means that it's going to cover everything that's going on here, hopefully. And if we go hold down Option and come down to your, hold down Option, come down to your mask. And so what's actually happened there, you can't see it because it's covered, but we'll work it out in a minute. If you take that off, it means that there's nothing now showing underneath. So to do this, what I tend to do is click on the bottom layer, put a blank layer in between, and then fill that blank layer with black. So black's already there for me. Change to my paintbrush tool, which is a shortcut G, and that gives me the black there, right? So come back to your original top layer now. This is not as tricky as it may sound. And if we then click on the mask, which is a black mask, so therefore you're going to paint with white. So if you look over here on this side, on your toolbar, my foreground one is in white. And I'm now going to find the lovely brush, which is going to be some fun. So here we go. Click on the brush tool. Now the brush tool comes with the basic tools, which are these, which are really boring. This is not what I want to use. So I'm going to go and find another set of brushes, which also comes with it. So if you click on the gear or the settings icon when you're in the brush tools, just up here on the left, on the right rather, click on that and then come down. I'm actually going to use neutral brushes. You can check out any of these, of course, but I'm going to use neutral brushes because of what I'm looking for. Now it asks you whether or not you want to append, which means add to this lot, or just come up with a whole batch of new brushes, which is the neutral. I'm going to say come up with a whole batch, which replaces this lot. You can always put them back later on, of course. Press OK, and there you have it. So now I've got some spatters, which is what I actually want. So I'm going to click on this one, which is the Deads 2021, which is that one. Yeah, 21. And it looks really ridiculous at the moment, but if you use your grater and to make yourself a little bit of a bigger brush, remember I'm painting with white, I can now come in, find a spot to start. I'm going to start from about here. Actually, face will be around here, and click and drag, and there we go. Look at the beautiful edges you get. And if you're clever, just wait. So click and hold, and you can see what you're doing as you go along. Obviously, you want to clear out the face in this particular case. It's just the edges you want to be a little bit different. And that will give you a really funky, different kind of way of doing the edges. Obviously, make sure that you've done all of the middle part of the image, or the bit that you actually want people to see. And there you go. Happy with that. So if that's doing my framing, that's that bit done. And now what I would do is, if there's any other additional pieces to do, this is where you come in and do it. So I'm just going to brighten up the eyes as part of a further tip. Make sure I'm on this layer here, so I'm not on the mask anymore. I'm coming across to the layer itself. I'm going to zoom into the eyes in this particular case, and I just want to give these eyes a little bit of a spruce. So I've used the lasso tool, draw a selection around just the eye part of it. Make sure I'm on addition up here. So there's the first one, which is normal. Second one's addition, so because I'm going to have two eyes selected. If I'm happy with that, and then simply the easiest tool to use is to come over here, use the sharpening tool here, click on it. At the moment I'm on strength of 50. I'm going to put it about strength of about 80%. Come back down, make myself a bigger brush, and just simply paint over it. And as you can see, how good's that? And that's just sharpening the eyes up beautifully. Don't go too crazy with it, of course. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go back a bit. Hold on. So I've gone back a bit. Oops. Can get too far. Hold on. That's 1, 2. Right, okay. And I'm going to make a copy. There's a Control J. So it's just got the eyes alone in it. This way I can control what goes on with the eyes. And now I'm going to come back and do this again. And that's gorgeous. And if they're just a little bit too much, I can now turn the opacity of these down a bit to blend in. So here's that's what they look like with that. Got it? And give it a little bit more. There we go. Wonderful. And that is how you get yourself a funky frame, and also as an additional tip, how you would sharpen up the eyes nice and quickly. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.